I mean, there is a personality that fits the Chicago Bears. Gruff, big shoulders, power, strength rather than finesse.
This is as good a list as you're going to get.
What?
Number 9.
How is that possibly right?
38 in the box.
That has to be better than 7.
This is great.
Wrong.
5 yards, we win the game.
He's got the best number, 4 rings.
Is it number 2?
Has to be the number 1.
Laughable.
There is no question. Number 1.
Best ever.
Open your big brown eyes and get a load of the world's greatest assortment of powerful, perilous pigskin prodigies, the Chicago Bears.
Hey, Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Think about the Chicago Bears. It's a story franchise from the beginning of how football was cultivated and grew to be the biggest thing on the planet.
Monday Night Football, rocking and rolling at Soldier Field.
It's pretty cool to be from Chicago and know that the history started here.
As one of the original franchises, the Chicago Bears are an essential part of NFL annals and in many ways are woven into the fabric of the city itself.
It's where East Coast meets West at the same time, but it's not as nasty as like New York or Boston or Philadelphia. Is, hey there, pal. You know, if there's going to be trouble here, I'm going to have to buy you a beer suit. It's that type of town. It's very embracing, and it loves its football.
The town is Chicago, and the winds blow sharp with the edge of winter.
When you have to come into Chicago to play, it's not pretty.
And now the weather that everybody talked about. I wonder if they're finally arrived. Maybe they're cheering for the snow.
It's bear weather. You always hear about bear weather.
When you think of the Bears, you think of Soldier Field and the look of the place with the columns and everything. I mean, it almost had the look of an American Parthenon.
Chicago kind of has this chip on its shoulder, right? Like the second city. And I think that kind of mentality, like the city just really embraces.
Should we give them the finger? Yeah, man. We're number one, we're number one, we're number one, one.
This city's a great city. There's a lot of things to do, but Sundays have always been reserved since the 20s.
Get the Bears, get the Bears,
The city loves its team, but with an NFL best 27 members in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who gets on the list of the top 10 Chicago Bears of all time?
What does it take to be a great Chicago Bear?
There's a history and an image to live up to.
Nastiness, defense, people getting hit.
We used to say, well, we lost again. Yeah, but 5 of their guys got hurt.
Yeah, that's what I think of the Bears. Monsters in the Midwest.
The town identifies with toughness, and that's really where it all starts. And then from there, if you can win some championships and get in playoffs, it's good.
The number 10 Chicago Bear of all time, Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher's 10?
Brian Urlacher, number 10?
Brian Urlacher should be higher.
No, I think he's right where he should be. In fact, I don't know if I'd have him as 10. He did go to 8 Pro Bowls, but he didn't play in the same conference as Ray Lewis.
His understanding of the game is what made him so great.
It was the versatility and the athletic ability that really made him so special.
Brian Urlacher coming clean on the blitz.
He was a finesse player, and he'd run you down. You could be an elk, he'd run you down. Those were his strengths.
The ability to go side to side, the ability to be a 4-down player.
Brian Urlacher was one of the last great guys to be able to do all of it, to be that complete, traditional Bears kind of middle linebacker.
Brian Urlacher, who has just been nothing but sensational.
My bad, dude. I did on accident.
I thought he was a terrific player and probably, to me, even exceeded what they thought. I mean, he was a first-round draft choice.
With the 9th choice in the NFL Draft 2000, the Chicago Bears select Brian Urlacher.
It's hard for first-rounders to exceed things because you're supposed to be great, but in his case, I think that he did.
Number 54 is the Bears' all-time leader in tackles, won the 2000 NFL Defensive Player of the Year award, and was one of the game's most versatile players.
We would have made the playoffs 0-1 with the Redskins if he didn't catch a fake field goal for a touchdown against us.
This is unbelievable.
Bears.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. So let's go then, yeah.
I think back about watching him in his prime. It was watching him drop into coverage with tight ends and even wide receivers on occasion. Then he'd step in front of him and intercept the ball.
Brian Urlacher had hands just like a receiver. They were so soft, picking off balls.
Brian Urlacher with a takeaway.
Some will say that he was not one of the premier great inside linebackers.
He's not in the echelon of the linebackers that the Bears had.
They said, well, he wouldn't stand in the middle and stick your nose in. He wasn't a blow-you-up type of guy. But that's not true either, because if you go back and watch the tape, he would blow ball carriers up.
He used to wear that C on his jersey. There was a reason for that, because guys respected him.
Urlacher, he's just a different type of animal. You weren't afraid of him, but you respected him.
As the face of the last Bears team to reach the Super Bowl, Brian Urlacher will always be near and dear to the hearts of Chicago fans.
And we still miss him. You know, Bears really have not replaced him since, and I think that when he left, he kind of took a little piece of that Bears identity with him.
In the fall of 1924, the public's interest in football was awakened by the sensational breakaway running of a University of Illinois halfback named Red Grange.
With pro football struggling financially in the 1920s, All-American halfback and future Hall of Famer Red Grange brought his star power to the Chicago Bears, and the NFL never looked back.
When Red Grange came, he made the Chicago Bears legitimate. He played in front of 100,000 people in exhibition games, saved the league in a big, big way.
Grange left an indelible mark on the game, but a different Chicago Bear forefather makes a mark on our list.
The number 9 Chicago Bear of all time, Bronco Nagurski.
Bronco, of course, is an immortal. A man whose name will go down as long as football is played. 235 pounds of muscle and bone and speed and desire.
Nagurski carried it.
Young parents should name their kid Nagurski. Played tackle, fullback, professional wrestled in the offseason. Because you know that kid's going to grow up to be tough.
He was just a big, powerful man who, when he hit the line, I mean, he was like a bulldozer going through a picket fence.
Even if it's like Nagurski Jones. Like Nagurski, that's a tough SOB right there.
Bronco Nagurski is football in the 1930s.
Nagurski had to play in Chicago. He had to be a Bear.
More than just a cool name, Bronco Nagurski was a dynamic player who was first or second team All-NFL in 7 of his first 8 seasons.
Played offense and defense, made first team All-Pro at 2 positions in the same year.
It was from the fullback position where he became legendary.
They were loath to tackle him. I know several players would let him go by for a 10-yard game and then tackle him from behind rather than meet him head on.
The Bears, in their tradition, boasted a fierce fullback, Bronco Nagurski.
Facing a contract dispute after his 8th season, Nagurski's athleticism and his fame provided a unique solution.
He went off and went into professional wrestling and became the world's heavyweight wrestling champion and did that for 6 years.
And now comes that line-smashing behemoth, Nagurski.
Nagurski's talent made him a charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but his loyalty to the Bears made him a Chicago legend.
In 1943, because of World War II, the Bears were so depleted that George Halas called Bronco Nagurski.
And Bronco, after being away from the game for 6 years, came back.
I came back to fill in at tackle, but every week we'd be losing players to the service. So I was drafted in the last game of the season against the Cardinals to go back in the backfield. And we won that game, which won the division title for us.
And wouldn't you know it, the last drive of the game, he pretty much accounted for all the yards by himself and lifted the Bears, and they ended up winning the NFL title that year.
The legend of Bronco Nagurski, as much as anything, is about one of the toughest guys ever to play the game, and of course that's what Bears fans value above all else.
He's like a Babe Ruth type. When you're a Bear fan, you're coming out of the womb and the doctor goes, listen, it's a boy, Bronco Nagurski, you know. When you think of top 10 Bears, you have to put him in the list.
The number 8 Chicago Bear of all time, Mike Singletary.
Samurai Mike.
Mike's everything to Chicago Bears.
He was like one of the all-time greats, man.
You guys line up across from him with those eyes staring at you. You'll move him up 5 spots right there.
When I think of Mike Singletary, I think of the stare.
If those eyes ever locked on you, my word.
The way that he would stare down offenses and look at what was going on.
Singletary would be surveying the field, and then those eyes would lock on something, and they would just get huge, like cartoon huge.
Those eyes are forever, and one of the greatest linebackers to ever play.
And when you think about the 85 Bears defense, you think of Mike Singletary.
He was the leading tackler. He was the team captain.
His strong suit was being glued.
The quick pass to the back, out of bound formation, or either if it's flat, let it lift it up.
He was the leader.
Watch him in the flat. Hey, get on him. Get on him. Hey, move. He's going in motion. Watch the end of McGraw.
From 1984 through 1988, the Chicago Bears defense ranked first, second, and second in the league in fewest yards allowed. What was the constant through all that? It was Mike Singletary.
But remember, he only went in the second round because people thought his size was going to be a detriment.
He was a short, stout guy who just came to just wreak havoc, man.
It just shows that it doesn't matter how big you are. If you play big here, you can become a Hall of Famer.
Mike Singletary was an inspirational leader and was the fire of that team, was the fire of that defense, and nobody prepared more than Mike.
Mike was extremely smart, extremely astute. I mean, spent countless hours studying film, fully understanding exactly what not just his assignments were, but what the assignments were for everybody in the defense.
You got 20 holes up front here. Let's play the defense. Come on.
I mean, he knew plays before they were going to happen.
It's like he was in the offensive huddle. Like, oh, y'all run a counter. Okay. I like that type of party, too.
Hey, baby. We're going to be here all day. We're going to be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
As linebackers go, I got him as my third best Bear linebacker ever. But very important, and I don't know if they win it all without him.
Known for intimidating defense, the Chicago Bears' reputation as the monsters of the Midway dates back to the 1940s and 50s.
They were the meanest, most difficult team I've ever played against anywhere.
I mean, our defense was one of the greatest defenses ever to play in the National Football League. I think their records were better now.
4 Hall of Famers came from those teams, including linebackers George Connor, Bulldog Turner, and Bill George, number 61.
Morrow rolling out to his left. He dodges, but Bill George grabs him from behind for a 4-yard loss.
Bill George becomes the first true middle linebacker. Then he became really one of the great middle linebackers of all time. In the great history of the Chicago Bears, you talk about one guy who I really kind of think doesn't get his due. It might be Bill George.
Despite making 8 Pro Bowls, George couldn't crack our top 10. But another Hall of Fame Bear who also went to 8 Pro Bowls did make our list.
The number 7 Chicago Bear of all time, Doug Atkins.
Doug Atkins, yeah, he was a beast.
I think I blocked him 3 times in 9 years. I think I also blocked him 3 times more than any other back ever did.
Before Deacon Jones, it was Doug Atkins. Feared.
You didn't want him playing all out, because if he came all out, then you really had a long day ahead of you.
You just always felt like the best thing to do was just to say, Doug, go get the quarterback.
He would be big in today's NFL. So you can only imagine what he was in the 50s and 60s.
6'8", 280 pounds, just all muscle. He could beat you any way he wanted to beat you.
More than just a big man, Doug Atkins was a 4-time All-NFL defensive end. In his 12 years in Chicago, he became one of the game's most intimidating figures.
We had a 220-pound left tackle named Grady Alderman. The first play of the game, he picked him up off his feet and threw him right at the quarterback. Just threw him about 10 yards through the air. He was probably the strongest guy I've ever seen.
Baronski was offensive captain. He said, number 81 is Doug Atkins. He said, don't cut him. And if he falls down, you help him up and say, nice play, Mr. Atkins. Well, I started to laugh. And Skoronski said, kid, this is not a joke. And I'm not kidding you now, because if you cut him on his knees, the first thing he's going to do is kill you, and then he's going to kill me.
He could do pretty much anything they needed him to do. You could play him inside, you could play him outside, he could play the run, he could play the pass.
One of his biggest specialties was his ability to bat down footballs. Because of his long wingspan, the way he can jump.
He's hurdling people on his way to the quarterback, let alone picking people up and throwing them into the quarterback.
In an era when nobody really talked about the great pass rushers, he was a great pass rusher.
They didn't keep sack statistics in those days, so who knew how many he had? But he lived in the backfield, and you never ran the ball to his side of the field.
To me, you don't get guys like that anymore.
Doug Atkins was one of the all-time greats.
I think you could push him higher on the list. I'm glad he's in the top 10. I really am, because that would have been an injustice if he wasn't.
The number 6 Chicago Bear of all time, Sid Luckman.
This is the man right here who set the mold, who set the standards for all the quarterbacks that you see today.
Number 42.
Sid Luckman was the Bears.
He's one of the best. Columbia University, Sid Luckman, come on.
As a quarterback, was a winner.
Sid Luckman played for the Bears for 12 years and led them to the title in 40, 41, 43, and 46.
The Bears are unstoppable.
The ultimate Sid Luckman story to follow is he was the guy who instituted the invention of the T formation.
In the NFL's first 2 decades, running the ball from the single wing formation was the dominant philosophy on offense. That all changed in 1939 when Bears head coach George Halas made Sid Luckman the quarterback in a T formation.
With the T formation, the quarterback drops back to pass, and so the T formation really creates the pocket passer.
We did improve the T by spreading the linemen, spreading the backs a bit.
Sid Luckman, one of the greatest T-formation quarterbacks in the business, gets off a pass.
It was really out of the T formation that the throwing quarterback became more of a factor in the game. He was the first one to really do it successfully.
A 5-time All-NFL quarterback, Luckman was a Hall of Famer who won 3 league passing titles and league MVP honors in 1943. That same year, Luckman became the first player to throw 7 touchdown passes in a single game.
I just kept throwing him. I was up to 4, and then the players became inspired. And finally I threw 6, and the place was in absolute pandemonium. It was almost unreal. And when I threw the 7th pass, of course, it was probably the highlight of my career.
It was the first time an NFL quarterback had ever thrown for more than 400 yards in a game. It's one of the great games any quarterback has ever played in any era. When Luckman was really at the peak of his popularity, the All-America Football Conference came along to challenge the NFL. They put a team in Chicago called the Chicago Rockets. The first thing the Chicago Rockets did was they went to go sign Sid Luckman. And they came and they offered $25,000. It more than doubled what he was making with the Bears. And Luckman didn't even consider it. Luckman said, I'm sorry. If I'm going to play football, I'm playing for the Chicago Bears. I think he's actually low at 6. I would put him higher.
Sid Luckman should absolutely be in the top 5 on this list, no question.
Easily the best quarterback in Bear history. That tells you why I've aged 100 years, doesn't it? When your best quarterback played in the 40s.
And now, the number 5 Chicago Bear of all time, Mike Ditka.
Where do you start with Mike Ditka?
Before the mustache, before the stogies.
Come on, Cecil. This is not the damn epic.
before the parodies.
How much would you beat Dallas by?
And before the South parody. He was the gold standard of tight ends in all of NFL history.
He's a legend. He's an icon.
He was born to be a Bear.
Coach is everything to this city.
And it's just a fascinating, amazing NFL career filled with so much success.
There's last year's Rookie of the Year, the Bears' Mike Ditka.
The first tight end inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mike Ditka earned all NFL honors 5 times in his 6 seasons playing for the Bears and forever changed the game.
Up until then, most tight ends were just there to block. Ditka was the first tight end who could get the ball and really do something with it.
Iron Mike Bowers for the final 30 yards on a 47-yard play.
He could get out and run, catch, block. He would be the complete tight end.
Also, the run after catch. I mean,
Mike would catch the ball and look for people to hit. He always liked to run short pass patterns and then run over everybody in his way.
The catch against the Pittsburgh Steelers during the '63 season, Mike catches this pass and runs over the entire defense. He's just knocking people out one after another.
He literally bowls over 6 guys. It's awesome.
That play against the Steelers pretty much defined Mike Ditka and defined the tight end position.
You had to be able to bring somebody in that kind of knew what the system was all about. And why not bring in one of your own?
Mike Ditka.
Handpicked in 1982 by Papa Bear George Halas himself, Ditka proved to be a perfect fit as the Bears head coach.
Mike is clearly a great coach by any measure. The 100 wins, the Super Bowl.
And this is a fitting birthday gift for Mr. Halas.
He wasn't an X's and O's guy. He didn't devise schemes.
Drill the center. Got to knock it out of center.
Mike Ditka brought a team together and motivated that team like nobody I've ever seen.
He would bark at you, sometimes even embarrass you.
And look at Ditka getting all over Harbaugh.
But he really did it because he felt at the time it might do some good. There was a harsh word, then a kind word. He's a great guy.
Tough throw to get it in there. Good going. Don't change it. Rob, run it. Shoot. I don't give a on the shoot. Catch the ball.
I mean, Mike could be really difficult to work with.
No, not dive. G. I thought that. Oh, Greg. Stay out. Give me a halfback. Get him the out of there. Steve, line him up and run it.
He was very brash. He was just kind of like, this is the way it is, and I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want, and that's it.
We'll keep trying. If they let me try, I'm going to try. If they don't.
He does not suffer fools gladly.
See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
You asked what he considered to be a dumb question.
I'd rather talk to him.
He would let you know that it was a dumb question.
Mike, I know I'm smarter than that.
Well, that's him.
Ditka should be...
You got the coach at number 5?
No worse.
For real?
Than 3.
For impact for Chicago Bear football, he might be number 1.
Even today, you will hear Chicago Sports Talk Radio. Yeah, we need to get a guy more like Ditka.
The Bears, 85-2.
He won a championship as a player, won it as a head coach.
I'm happy for everyone here. I love everyone.
But when you start thinking of other Bears, 5th is fine. He'll take it. Mike will take it.
The number 4 Chicago Bear of all time, Gale Sayers.
If I had one game to win, I'm picking him. He should be number 1.
I can't even really put in words what watching him on film was like.
You go back and watch the tape, you won't believe your eyes. I mean, some of the things that he could do.
He was the man. I mean, he was like poetry in motion, dude.
Look, Gale Sayers was a fantastic football player, but he did not put in the time that a Mike Singletary did not put in the time Brian Urlacher did not put in the time of Walter Payton is. I can't put Gale Sayers in my top 4 when it comes to the Bears.
Once in a generation or a lifetime, the great runner arrives in pro football. He is one of the select few who can fill stadiums Sunday after Sunday and whose number is burned into the memory of every fan.
Gale Sayers, compared to the other people in the field, had a different level of athleticism.
You watch the tape of Gale Sayers, and there is more make you miss in any one run than you can find in the career of many running backs.
His vision is what set him apart.
He would know where people were, just on the side of his eye, man. Just how did he know to make that cut there?
Nobody touched Gale Sayers. I mean, you thought you had him and he was gone.
It looked like somebody blew a whistle, but he's the only one who didn't hear it.
Gale Sayers only played in 68 games and yet is in the Hall of Fame.
He was a straight monster, dude.
It was like watching a movie every time that he touched the football.
I could try to emulate his moves, man. I'm too fat, but I mean, just to man.
Like he said, give me 6 inches. That's all I need.
Give me 18 inches of daylight. That's all I need.
There was nobody better.
He would just take over games by himself.
That game against the 49ers at Wrigley Field was epic.
The 6 touchdowns in one game.
Where most people couldn't even get their footing, he was making people just miss and stopping on a dime.
6 touchdowns. Ran back a kick, ran back a punt.
A one-man Gale, dashing 85 dazzling yards on the longest punt return of the season. Here he is, galloping Gale, carrying the mail. This is his 6th touchdown of the game.
He scored a touchdown every way a running back could.
Gale obviously was 6 years. 4 of those we could call healthy.
He was averaging 6.2 yards a carry when he got hurt.
Sayers was leading the league in rushing when he was injured in 1968.
Gale Sayers might have been a finesse back, but he comes back from that ACL injury when nobody ever came back from ACL injuries and ran for 1,000 yards.
Which was still a meaningful benchmark in the NFL in those days. And I believe his longest carry was 19 yards. And that's not the player he was.
Changed his style, and he still did it.
The numbers that he would have put up if he would have been able to stay healthy would have been astronomical.
Just a phenomenal athlete. I think he should be higher than 4.
Fellas, what are they, unblockable? Is that the 85 Bears over there? Huh?
Due to super secret regulations, an entire unit couldn't crack this top 10. But the 85 Bears would surely head any list of great defenses.
You got Hampton, you got the Fridge out there, and then you had Richard Dent, and you had Fensick, Mike Singletary in the middle calling plays, Otis Wilson. I mean, that was the most complete defense you could have. Everybody was scared of that defense. The game was won before it even started.
Because we focus on individuals, the greatest defense of all time did not make our list.
And the blitz is on over the left side. It goes.
But the franchise's greatest defensive player comes in at number 3.
The number 3 Chicago Bear of all time, Dick Butkus.
Butkus at 3. I have to find out who the other 2 guys are before I can make any statements.
Number 3, I like it. I like Butkus at 3.
Who the heck's number 2 and 1?
He was just a nasty, tenacious middle linebacker, man. I mean, when you think of linebackers, you think of Dick Butkus.
Dick was kind of the original Chicago Bear.
Oh my God, how intimidating was Dick Butkus on the football field?
His 9-year career stands apart as the single most sustained work of devastation ever committed on a football field by anyone, anywhere, anytime.
All you have to do is show the shot of him kind of looking off in the distance, and you see his knuckles, and they're just gnarly, man. I mean, they're like lasagna.
I don't know who the toughest player in the history of football was, but if you asked me, who would you least like to be tackled by, before you finish the question, I would say, oh, Dick Butkus.
This was a breed apart in terms of how intense he was and just how physically dominating he was as a player.
Like, Dick Butkus is definitely like hardcore Chicago. He was just mean. He was mean.
A lot of guys he played against will tell you he's the toughest guy who ever played the game. Just nasty, mean.
Roses are red and violets are blue. If you got any sense, you'll keep Butkus away from you.
Vicious man. Great guy. Vicious, though.
Have a good one.
He, to me, made us watch defense. When we went to the games, There was 11 guys on the field, and every guy was watching what he's going to do.
You always see that forearm shiver. Boom, like him just knocking dudes out. Boom, boom, boom. Like his forearms is like made of steel or something.
I never seen a guy know where the ball's going to be, because he didn't have the greatest speed, yet the guy caused 37 fumbles, 22 interceptions.
To have a middle linebacker cause that many turnovers,
he had it here, and he had the gut instinct.
Dick Butkus played hurt for 9 years in the NFL.
Couldn't block him. And then they started going for his knees, though. When they went for his knees, that was it.
The fact that Dick Butkus played his last few careers with essentially no knees is pretty remarkable because, knees are sort of essential.
He is the epitome of what Bears fans, and I'm sure George Halas, wanted people to believe was the Chicago Bear mentality. He was just the toughest, most competitive guy you've ever seen play the game. And former NFL players voted Dick Butkus the greatest defensive player of all time. It's an argument you can make. He was that dominant for those 9 years on the field.
Although these sweet feet didn't make our top 10, Devin Hester may have been the greatest return man of all time.
16-yard line, he's going to return it. He's going to run right, and with a burst to the 25-30, opening 35-40, right side midfield. Got to block that field to the 40. No chance. Goodbye. Touchdown. Welcome to the NFL. The Windy City Flyers.
I'm talking to you seriously. You are something special, dog. You got a long career ahead of you.
He's by Hanson. He hurdles Sauerbrunn. Devin Hester, you are ridiculous.
Literally, they created a Pro Bowl position just for the returner. It was him. He could change the game. You start the Super Bowl game off. You kick to Devin Hester, you start 7-0.
Left ball, hopping here in Miami. It sails to the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle of the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, touchdown Bears! No way!
When it comes to returns, nobody did it better than Devin Hester. The same could be said for the running back at number 2 on our list.
The number 2 Chicago Bear of all time, Walter Payton.
Are you for real? I'm done with this interview. No, I'm just joking.
I'd argue for number 1. I'd argue for that top spot. For me, I think greatest Chicago Bear ever.
If I said greatest Bear of all time, I'd say Walter Payton.
He's the greatest of all time, man.
When God wanted to invent a football player, he created Walter Payton.
When I think of Walter Payton, I think of him finishing run after run after run.
When you watch Walter Payton play, he wasn't that much bigger than anyone. He wasn't that much faster than anyone. He could just see the field, and he played that much harder.
Just his will and his determination, man. You could see it in every run.
Boy, he used to drop the hammer on people.
Don't think that I'm just going out of bounds with you here. I'm Walter Payton.
Not only am I not going out of bounds, not only am I taking every drop of your blood, but I'm going to give you a violent forearm just to remember you by.
Guys knew that he was going to bring the lumber.
You will remember when you tackled me, because you really didn't tackle me. I hit you out of bounds, and we went down together, but you went back 3 yards.
He was a different kind of a running back because while he had great speed and athleticism, it was that Bear mentality that made him special.
And I think if there was one word that just sort of defined Walter Payton to me, it's just will, because he just willed it to happen.
Oh, the run against Kansas City. The one where he keeps hitting his head, go bouncing off these guys like a pinball machine.
The play that I think of the most has to be my dad's run against the Chiefs.
Walter literally ran through the entire Kansas City Chiefs defense.
It's just basically sums up his whole entire career.
Payton, who retired as the NFL's all-time leading rusher, was the king of Chicago and royalty to everyone.
Well, thank you, and give my best to Nancy.
Kick ass. Let everything hang out.
He had talent, clearly, and he had vision, clearly, but what made him elite was that he was willing to work harder than anyone else.
And what we started to find out after 4 or 5 years in the league, that it wasn't just all God-given. Then we learned about the hill.
Walter Payton had to have days that he didn't want to work out. He had to have days when he looked up at that hill and went,
Days where he was probably sick, didn't feel well, didn't matter because he knew that somebody was coming to the game that Sunday to watch him play for the first time, and he didn't want to disappoint them.
It's not the days that you wake up and that you're jazzed about running the hill. It's the days where you really don't want to move. Those are the days that are the difference between the heroes and the guys who just play.
Walter Payton was the greatest running back I had ever seen when he retired.
He could both make you miss and run you over.
He was just the best all-around football player I've ever seen.
My dad wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, but he was the best all-around football player that I've ever seen.
Walter Payton didn't change the game. He just played it better than everybody else.
Number 2. I can only guess who's number 1 then, if my dad's number 2.
And now, the number 1 Chicago Bear of all time, Papa Bear, George Halas.
There is no larger figure in the history of the National Football League.
If there's no Papa Bear, there's no football.
Everything about the Bears, it begins and ends with him.
Bears fans take great pride in the fact that the pro game was basically invented by George Halas, the original Chicago Bear.
He started the NFL, if you guys didn't know that. So, of course, he has to be number 1.
George Halas' nickname was Papa Bear Halas. It's perfect. I mean, he was the father of the Chicago Bears organization. He played for them. He coached for them. He sold tickets.
He signed the players. He did his own scouting. He was a one-man gang. There would be no football league today had it not been for George Halas. There's no doubt about it.
He had a reputation from which the entire Bear persona grew.
5 minutes before the game, here comes a knock on the door in the training room, and it's Papa Bear. He says, I'd like to speak to Coach Lombardi. It's very urgent. And he walks in, and here are the 2 coaches. He says, yes, Coach, can I help you? And he says, yeah. He said, Vince, I just want you to know you better have your team ready because we're going to kick your ass.
Let's see where you carry that ball. That's right. As long as you get in that, they can't knock that thing. That's the most important thing right there. We had a fullback by the name of Jacady, and he just set a record of 13 fumbles. I showed him this the next season. He didn't have one.
Perhaps best known as the Bears' Hall of Fame coach, George Halas earned 324 victories in 40 years and 6 NFL titles, including the most lopsided win in league history.
Well, in 1940, we played the Washington Redskins for the championship. We were ready for them, and we won that game 73-0. That was undoubtedly my greatest thrill.
Bears dominated 40s and 50s. And then 63, when people said games passed them by, they won it all.
When icons pass away from most franchises, they'll wear the black stripe or they'll wear the initials for the rest of the season. They still wear the GSH. That's awesome. I like that. That's a cool move.
He's a legend. That's all there is to it. The trophy's named the George Halas Trophy.
This award bears the name of the original founder of the Chicago Bears, the George Halas Trophy, which goes to the champion of the NFC.
He's a part of NFL lore.
He's known to millions as the Papa Bear, and he is revered and admired as the kindly godfather of pro football, which he certainly is.
It's hard to put him on a list with people who went out and played football, because George Halas made football.
When you talk to all these other Hall of Famers who played for him, the reverence in which they held him is just, it's hard to describe.
I feel about him just like you said, he was like a second father.
That's one of the great highlights of my life, was to have him as my coach for those many years.
I'm just sorry that I wasn't born 20 years earlier, so I could have had a long association with George Halas. I love George Halas.
He's a great human being, and this tribute that you're paying him today is way overdue and past due, and I'm glad he's getting it.